Imagine waking up tomorrow and every plane in America is grounded. We haven't seen that since 9/11. But this is not from a terrorist attack. This is not because of weather, not because of mechanical failure, but because of the people who guide those planes safely to Earth. They've walked away. That nightmare is becoming a reality as the Schumer shutdown entered its second week. 16,000 flights delayed. Families sleeping on airport floors. Controllers working without pay finally said enough. At LAX, pilots are attempting to land with minimal guidance. That's code for disaster waiting to happen. From O'Hare to Newark, from Atlanta to Dallas, America's aviation system is one exhaust controller away from catastrophe. And while planes circle desperately above, Chuck Schumer is still celebrating. This is what happens when politics trumps safety. Don't look away. While families are stranded at airports nationwide, aging Americans can't afford to be struck with the wrong health coverage either. A meta-analysis of 23 controlled trials shows collagen supplements deliver real improvements in skin hydration, elasticity, and wrinkle reduction. That's why I use Ageless Multi-Collagen. It's transformed my skin with 5 types of premium collagen. I've noticed smoother skin, more elasticity, fewer fine lines, plus better joint health. Grab a bag for 51% off at healthwithgary.com. The promotion includes free VIP coaching for life, a free skin nutrition ebook, 60-day guarantee, and free shipping. Go to healthwithgary.com. It's linked down in the description. The flight chaos is unfolding due to the Democrat shutdown. This is happening right now. Flight chaos unfolds. Government shutdown sparks air traffic controller shortages, delaying thousands. Patriots uphold limited government principles, praying for wise stewardship that honors our nation's hardworking families rooted in divine order. All flights delayed due to the government shutdown. They're even talking about it on CNN. Now, listen to the Post. I'll say it before I play the clip. The flight delays are spreading. Staffing shortages from the government shutdown seem to be to blame. Over the last 24 hours, there have been issues in Chicago, Houston, Newark, Las Vegas, Boston, Atlanta, Philadelphia, Dallas, all major hubs. In Nashville, the air traffic facility was so undermanned, it had to close.
Let's get to CNN's Pete. New this morning, the flight delays are spreading. Staffing shortages from the government shutdown seem to be to blame. Over the last 24 hours, there have been issues in Chicago, Houston, Newark, Las Vegas, Boston, Atlanta, Philadelphia, Dallas, all major hubs. In Nashville, the air traffic facility was so undermanned it had to close for a time. The Department of Transportation says they've seen an uptick in sick calls since the shutdown began. While the Air Traffic Controllers Union has disavowed any coordinated action, they have also said the controllers were already critically short-staffed. Controllers are considered essential workers and are required to work without pay. The previous shutdown, which was the longest ever at 35 days, ended in part because 10 air traffic controllers stayed home, leading to major traffic delays. Let's get to CNN's Pete Montine at Reagan National Airport. Day by day, this seems to be spreading, Pete.
And we're not out of the woods yet, John. You know, the FAA just issued a warning of possible staffing issues today at the Newark approach control facility that has been plagued by systems outages and staffing shortages since this spring. Day 8 of this shutdown, and it seems like we are only at the beginning. Just yesterday, there were delays due to staffing shortages at the Nashville approach control facility. Actually had to close down for a time, about 5 hours last night. Also at Chicago O'Hare due to a staffing shortage there in the control tower. Layer that on top of the fact that on Monday, the tower at Hollywood Burbank International Airport had to completely go dark, a condition known as ATC Zero, because there weren't enough controllers there.
New this morning, the flight delays.
ATC Zero. And meanwhile, while this is happening, Homeland Security issuing this 5 hours ago. On September 30th, ICE arrested 4 criminal illegal aliens who conducted laser strikes on a CBP helicopter. Aiming a laser pointer at an aircraft is a federal crime. This is incredibly dangerous for the aircraft personnel and for the public safety. Antifa domestic terrorists will not overrun our cities. We will bust their networks and bring every one of them to justice. This is the flyer that was posted by Rose City Counter Info. You're invited to laser tag. They say every night for weeks, we're forced to listen to the threatening rhythm of helicopter blades as the federal regime spies on us. So, you're invited to fight back. All you need is a laser. Leave home. They can see where the laser is coming from. Go to a park, a field, or some other public place, and once the clock strikes 9, unleash your beam at the copter, mask up, coordinate with friends, and throw a laser party. Let's take back the night together. We won't take many of us to the ground. It won't take many of us to ground the helicopters. They're actively trying to ground the helicopters. What if one of these crashes? You've already got shortages with air traffic controllers, and I'm sure those air traffic controllers have to coordinate with military aircraft, military helicopters. Add in this layer of chaos. Antifa pointing lasers. Homeland Security issuing warnings. This guy here, Chicago Airport, O'Hare Airport faces ground stops and major delays due to air traffic controller shortages amid government shutdown travel chaos. This is a TikTok user posting this. Let's see.
The very big news. We have some major news right now. Staffing shortages have officially hit one of the busiest airports in the entire country, the Chicago O'Hare International Airport. According to Axios News and the FAA, a ground stop is expected at the airport at around 6 p.m. local time. In addition, it'll be short-staffed between 2 p.m. local time and 11 p.m. local time, which means that there'll be more delays, cancellations, etc. This is all because of a government shutdown. A government shutdown is preventing air traffic controllers who are essential employees. They're going to have to work without pay. Many of them can't afford to do that, so they're calling off sick in increased numbers. Airports are short-staffed. Now, air traffic towers at Chicago O'Hare are not going to be completely empty like we saw at Burbank's airport last night, but we're going to see a ground stop. We're going to see delays. This is a very big news. And it's only day 7 of a government shutdown, and not enough people are talking about it. It's going to get worse. Spread the word so more people know. Follow along for more. And if you want to support my work, subscribe to my sub.
It's going to get worse the longer this goes on. And I've said this before, that it's going to be the pressure from the American people, these families who are sleeping on the floors of airports because their flights are delayed. They're the ones that are going to be so pissed that they're going to raise hell. Here is News Radio WHAM 1180. A week into the government shutdown, 15 hours ago. Air traffic controller shortages are causing significant flight delays and cancellations across the United States. Here's a picture. Here is the picture of some of these delays. Look at all the delays. Here's the ABC News Live. And let's see what's going on here. This is ABC News Live Primetime reporting on it.
Back.
John, thanks for joining us. When would you call a staffing situation dire at an airport or control tower?
When you've got a point that you don't have enough people to fill the shift and somebody is trying to work 2 or 3 positions at once, that's the time you're going to have to cut back the air traffic, or face the fact that you're actually giving a less safe situation. There's no white shining line between safe and unsafe in this situation, but as you stress these controllers who've been stressed already even before this shutdown, you increase the slide towards a lesser level of safety.
Bottom line, is it safe to fly right now?
It is safe to fly by any reasonable measure, but it is becoming a little less so every time we have a stressed tower or air traffic control facility staffed with people who are now wondering whether they're going to get paid. That is not a formula for safety.
If the shutdown continues for much longer, can you foresee airports completely ceasing operations?
Well, I can see situations where they're simply going to have to shut it down or shut down the inbound and outbound air traffic because they won't have enough people in the towers, or they won't be able to transfer the controllers and their radios to another facility. We've had that in Southern California, where some people in the facility in San Diego were able to pinch hit for I think Burbank, but that's one of the examples that I think is going to get worse. We have always been understaffed in air traffic control ever since 1981, and this makes it just 10 times worse.
John,
10 times worse. Now, I think we've got a clip here. Okay, this is LAX going silent 2 days ago. Los Angeles International Airport operated without air traffic controllers due to the ongoing U.S. government shutdown. Flights delayed, rerouted, or grounded as pilots coordinated landings with minimal guidance, relying on emergency protocols and regional support. The FAA confirmed the lapse was caused by staffing shortages linked to suspended federal operations. Critics are calling it a dangerous failure of governance, with ripple effects expected across the national aviation grid. More than 16,000 flights have been delayed this week as air traffic controllers work without pay and airports struggle with staffing. Here's Robert Reich with an interesting take. He says there's one group that could be responsible for ending the shutdown: air traffic controllers. Let's listen to his take. I haven't heard this yet. I have an idea where he's going, but I haven't heard it.
Stopped it essentially. Well, I'll tell you how the
shutdown.
Shutdown.
That's what I want to start with.
The shutdown is going to end, I believe, with air traffic controllers.
So tell us why.
The long shutdown that occurred at the end of 2018, beginning of 2019, it went for 35 days. It was a record length. This was under Trump. What stopped it essentially was air traffic controllers starting to call in sick. Remember, they're not being paid.
Right.
They're under a lot of stress.
They're already overworked. We've seen so many examples. We know
right now they're even more overworked than they were in 2019. Their pay has been stagnant when they were being paid.
And there have been layoffs.
And they're not being paid. And a lot of them are at the end of their ropes in terms of their ability to function. So will a few of them...
60-hour weeks.
60-hour weeks. Will a few of them call in sick? Probably. Are they actually sick? Maybe.
Yeah.
But all you need is a small percentage to call in sick. And what happens is what happened in January of 2019. There's a cascade effect of delays, flight delays across America. And once you get some delays, more and more delays. And what happened in January of 2019 is passengers started calling their members of Congress. Right. They were so upset. And Wall Streeters.
That's it. So it's people like me visiting my mom, but it's also the G6s with the private
jets. Also are reliant on the air traffic controllers, and those private jets are also delayed, or they can't take off. And they call in to their members of Congress and their senators, and within hours, Trump ended that shutdown, and he didn't get what he wanted. He did not get funding for his wall.
Oh, wow. Trump caved last time. Oh, boy, this is a standoff, folks. And right now, with the way that these air traffic controllers, I mean, this is worse than it was then. But he brings up a good point about the Wall Streeters and the financial elite with their private jets not being able to get off the ground. Now, of course, regular constituents like you and me, we'll call our member of Congress. We'll call up our senator's office, complain. But when you're talking about people with billions of dollars in their bank account, super donors making phone calls, sometimes those guys actually pick up the phone and they cave in. So how long is this going to go? I don't know. Reuters reports as the U.S. government shutdown continues, frustrated TSA agents and air traffic controllers are calling in sick, leading to delays. Travel plans are being canceled as passengers brace for worsening airport service.
These systems. Well, the impact on air travel from the shutdown is going to actually change over time. It really depends on how long the shutdown lasts. For example, at airport security screening, the TSA officer is still going to be there. They're not going to be paid until the shutdown ends, but they are still going to be there. The same thing applies to air traffic controllers. So for the typical traveler, you're not going to see much change for the next several days or maybe even a week. But as the shutdown progresses, if it continues for a longer period of time, what we're going to start to see is an erosion of the service. In particular, these employees, the air traffic controllers, the TSA officers at airports may start to call in sick. They're going to get tired. They're going to get frustrated, and they want to get paid. And as a result of that, we're going to start to see a very gradual but noticeable degradation of the performance in these systems. And that's when you're going to see delays in terms of airport screening. You're going to see delays in flights. And if you bring in weather issues, all of these things will convolute, and we're going to end up with a lot of unhappy travelers.
They're holding us all hostage. There's another clip here. Okay, here. Representative Josh Williams, 11 hours ago, writes, the Democrat shutdown is causing flights to be delayed at the airport in Columbus. Air traffic controllers, TSA agents currently working without pay. If Ohioans have a painful travel experience this week, be sure to thank Democrats like Representative Marcy Kaptur.
The board behind me here at the Columbus airport shows some flights are leaving late and coming in late this afternoon. But federal officials warn we could see more delayed flights as the government shutdown continues.
It's the word no traveler wants to see when heading for their flight.
We got in the car and then I saw the notification that it was delayed 30 minutes already,
Especially when trying to catch a connecting flight for a big trip.
Probably our biggest fear is maybe missing that flight that's going to get us overseas.
Thomas and Bill are off to see the Wizard at the Sphere in Las Vegas.
So I wanted to make sure we got here in time.
They're hoping to avoid any travel snafus on their way back, already planning their next trip.
Probably win a lot of money going to Hawaii.
But the longer the shutdown continues, travel experts warn the bigger the impacts at the airport.
We could see, again, cancellations and delays or longer TSA lines, just sort of travel troubles because of a government shutdown. But there's no guarantee that that will happen.
The government shutdown in late 2018 to early 2019 lasted 34 days. It led to widespread delays due to staffing shortages.
So we wouldn't advise anyone change or make drastic plan changes anytime soon. But if you do have travel towards the end of the month, this is when you might want to reconsider about what form of travel you're taking, if you can drive versus fly.
Federal airport officials, including TSA agents and air traffic controllers, are working right now with
the board behind me here at the Columbus airport shows
I wanted to go to the White House this month. I don't think I'll be going if this air traffic control system is still having issues. Maybe I'll just have to drive. Secretary Sean Duffy writes, I'm encouraging air traffic controllers to show up for work during this shutdown, but when I talked to them, they were stressed out and thinking, how do I put food on the table? How do I pay my mortgage if my paycheck doesn't come through? He was on CNN with Turd Tapper.
They need to go to their, well, say who's using them as pawns, right? I'm encouraging air traffic controllers to show up for work. They need to go to their jobs. They need to, control the airspace. The problem is when I've talked to them, they are stressed out. They are wondering, how do they put food on the table? How do they pay their mortgages if their paycheck doesn't come through? Well,
PBS News, thousands of flights have been delayed across the country as the government enters its second week of shutdown. Secretary Duffy also appearing on Fox.
Paychecks. They're frustrated that Chuck Schumer is putting illegal immigrants in their health care over their paychecks, putting illegals over Americans. And they're like, you know what? We're going to call in sick today. I don't like it. They all have to come to work. They all should come to work. But this is a lash out at Democrats for, again, putting non-Americans ahead of American hardworking citizens.
We got something else here from Right Angle News. What is this? Delta Airlines facing massive backlash as customers boycott and demand refunds after the airline refused to take action against a pilot and a DEI flight attendant who removed an elderly man from a flight for wearing a MAGA hat. Oh, here's video. Lovely.
Where's the captain? Is he still right there? The captain? Captain. He's still right there. Sorry?
Oh, let me find it.
Just 1 second. He'll be right back.
So right now I've been asked to step off the plane because of my hat. Can you believe that? So now I'm waiting for the captain to have a word with me, and I'm flying Delta, and I went on there and sat down, and I haven't said a word to anybody. I haven't done anything, but because of my hat, they asked me to step off a plane. So anyhow, I'm waiting for the captain. He'll be here shortly. That's why I'm videoing.
Thank you so much.
And I'm not, and I'm doing something wrong? I've never done nothing wrong. Why?
No. If you can't comply with the simple instruction of removing the hat.
The lady next to me asked to take a picture of me, so I put it back on. She was taking pictures for her daughter, and the next thing you know, they come right back over there again.
I don't know all the specifics. I'm just saying, I'm giving you the option, okay? Either you keep the hat off and you follow the instructions of the flight attendants, because in the case of an emergency, how do I know, based on this simple little issue, that you would follow their instructions in an emergency? I'm an ultra conservative.
That'd be like coming up to me and saying,
I'm probably more ultra MAGA than you are, okay? I'm just saying that right now, I got to make sure that
Donald Trump signed 2 of these for me across there. He thought it was hilarious. Everybody thinks it's hilarious. So somebody's got their panties in a wad over my hat, and I'm out here, a businessman, well recognized amongst all the high. I mean, I can call the president. I can call the governor on the phone right now of Georgia. That's people I know, and I'm not here being questioned like I'm a troublemaker.
No.
These people are going to be looking.
We just want to make.
Wow. Stay out of the airports, folks. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. Now, this isn't just about flight delays. It's about planes falling from the sky. When air traffic controllers can't pay rent, when TSA agents skip meals, when pilots are landing jets with minimal guidance at LAX, we are not witnessing incompetence. We are courting disaster. The Schumer shutdown has turned our skies into a game of Russian roulette. 16,000 flights delayed today could become 16 crashes tomorrow. Controllers are walking off the job because they can't feed their families. The radar screens going dark aren't just inconvenient. They are potentially deadly. And Schumer's response, every day gets better for us. That's not leadership. That's criminal negligence. They're gambling with American lives to score political points. The system that safely moves 2.9 million Americans daily is breaking down, and one mistake could mean hundreds dead. So here's my question. How many planes have to crash before Democrats end their shutdown? Let me know. And grab some next news gear. We've got a red hat I think you'll enjoy. And you can demand accountability before tragedy strikes.